the 1980s and 1990s, Colombia was ravaged by an endless cycle of narco violence that captured worldwide headlines. Yet in the midst of an era where shots fired on people were more than the shots fired at goal, football thrived. The unlikely catalyst for this phenomenon was the laundering of drug money that built soccer fields and paid top dollars for players and coaches. According to Colombian Minister Rodrigo Lara Bonilla, at least 6 professional clubs were known to be linked with drug cartels and the sordid affairs of briberies, kidnappings, and killings. Pablo Escobar was ranked 7th by Forbes magazine on the world's billionaires list in 1989. His net worth was estimated between $25 to $30 billion, making him the wealthiest criminal in history. El Señor, the head of the Medellin cartel, who was himself a football fan, ran the Medellin-based Atlético Nacional soccer team as an open secret. He viewed a successful football club as the perfect mechanism to launder money. At the same time, rival drug lord Miguel Rodriguez Orihuela, who oversaw the Cali cartel, was bankrolling another one of the Colombia's Premier League teams, America de Cali. Operating like modern-day Robin Hoods, they sponsored youth programs, built soccer facilities and rained cash on slum neighborhoods. On a business level, they washed their dirty money by financing soccer franchises, overmarking great receipts at stadiums, and inflating player transfer fees between clubs. In 1989, Escobar's Atlético Nacional defeated a Paraguayan squad Olimpia to become the first Colombian team to win South America's most prestigious club competition, the Copa Libertadores. That year, they also claimed the Copa Interamericana and were runner-up at the Intercontinental Cup. Following a 28-year absence from FIFA's World Cup, Colombia qualified for 3 state tournaments in the next decade. 8 of the 22 players who comprised the 1990 national team played for Atlético Nacional during Escobar's reign, and they included stars such as Faustino Asprilla, Andres Escobar, and René Higuita. Even Francisco Maturana, the manager and the coach of both the private and national teams, later admitted that the injection of drug money into the system raised the caliber of Colombian soccer and prevented skilled players from going elsewhere. However, playing football in Colombia wasn't safe. The drug lords engaged in large-scale gambling activities, and matches that ended unexpected results were followed by deadly retribution. In 1989, Escobar's Independiente Medellin met Orihuela's America de Cali. The match ended in a 0-0 draw. Rumors and Escobar's paranoia swirled post-game, as many speculated whether or not the Cali cartel had bribed the referee before kickoff. This seemed a reasonable scenario for Escobar, who himself had offered money to referees in the past for them to look the other way and reward them with favorable results. Alvaro Ortega, the referee who officiated the game, would never return to a football field as he was murdered the same evening. The news sent shockwaves through the soccer world, and some sports writers called for Colombia to be stripped of its participation in the 1990 World Cup. That year, FIFA, CONMEBOL and the South American Football Federation forced their Colombian affiliate to cancel the country's annual Premier League championship. By 1991, Escobar was forced into a plea deal arrangement with the Colombian government to avoid being extradited to the US. Confined to a golden cage, he still managed to control his empire and didn't hesitate to keep showering money on his favorite sport. While in captivity, the underworld titan invited Diego Maradona, at the time the greatest dribbler on the international stage, to play a friendly match with Colombia's top players. Everyone then partook in late-night festivities, and Maradona departed the following day with a handsome undisclosed fee. It all took place at La Catedral, Escobar's purpose-built luxury prison that featured a soccer field, a bar, a jacuzzi, and a waterfall. 2 years later, in 1993, the cocaine baron was killed by police while on run, but soccer violence had yet to reach its peak. Colombia's 1994 national team squad was the best the country had ever assembled. Their undefeated run for the quadrennial event included a 5-0 thrashing of powerhouse Argentina, placing them at the top of the South American group. Brazilian legend Pelé even suggested that Colombia would take the trophy. In the opening rounds, Colombia lost to the US 2-1, aided by a goal that was mistakenly deflected by defender Andres Escobar into their own net. The aspiring stars were soon eliminated and never advanced to the knockout stage. A week later, Andres Escobar, who was also the national team's captain, was gunned down outside a nightclub in Colombia in apparent retaliation for scoring his own goal. Nicknamed El Caballero de Football, or the gentleman for his clean style of play, the much-loved Escobar had been rumored to join AC Milan after the World Cup. Over 120,000 people attended his funeral. Only 3 years on from killing of Escobar, Colombia faced Paraguayan team as they looked to qualify for the competition, which ended in such despair for them last time out. Paraguay's free-scoring goalkeeper Jose Luis Chilavert and Colombia's Faustino Asprilla see red after 81 minutes. A fight starts between the pair, resulting in both men receiving their marching orders and a penalty awarded to Colombia. The spot kick is dispatched But unfortunately for Colombia, the Paragons claim a winner late into the game to make it 2-1. In a documentary released 10 years after the heated fixture, Asprilla spoke of an alarming phone call. It came on the evening of the game, while he sat in the hotel room. A Colombian hitman spoke through the telephone seeking Asprilla's blessing. The hitman wanted the green light from Newcastle's very own marksman to allow him to murder the hot-headed goal-scoring shortstop. Asprilla recalls asking the man if he was crazy, as he continued to explain that he would ruin Colombian football forever. What happened on the pitch stays there. However, Andres Escobar's murder marked the beginning of the end of the narco-soccer period, and some players quit and officials stepped up their crackdown on the sport's nefarious business affair. Atletico Nacional was turned over to the new owner, and Colombia's international soccer ranking plummeted from a high of number 4 but 34 for the decade. Dispatched again in the early round of 1998 World Cup, the national team settled into a long slump and was absent altogether for the next 16 years from the world's premier soccer competition. However, Colombian soccer came back on a resurgence in 2014 when the country made the quarterfinals for the first time and the star player James Rodriguez earned the Golden Boot award as the leading goal scorer in the tournament. Atletico Nacional also re-emerged in 2016 to lift the Copa Libertadores for the second time in history and was ranked by IFFHS as the best club in the world. A dark chapter in the nation's history, Colombian soccer under the drug lord is remembered as a sinister paradox that mixes success with tragedy and hope with despair.